2018 Capital Improvement Advisory Committee meeting to order. Second item on our agenda is a public hearing. Hold a public hearing, consider and file the semi-annual report evaluating the progress of the city on achieving the capital improvements program and identifying any problems in implementing the plans or administering the capital recovery fees.
Good evening. My name is James Walters. I'm the Finance Director for the City of Schertz. We have the report in front of you if it autofocuses. I wanted to point out two areas of the report that changed from last time. The first is you will notice that the sewer impact fee allocated balance has now changed. So it was 0 on the last report. We've added a net 419, so there is now an allocated section of sewer impact fees. You'll notice that further down on the page, we transferred out 487 and allocated that amount of the sewer impact fees. And on the sewer capital project, you'll see that 487 in for the Crossvines batch plant expansion, which is part of the capital improvements plan. And then during this quarter, we had $68,609 attributed to that installation and setup of that batch plant. So that net at the bottom, 419, 238.80, will match to the front page. Notice that we do have some other expenses related to projects on the sewer capital improvements plan for the woman hollering treatment plant, the actual plant going in down there. Currently, that plant is being funded through bond funds, so debt, so no impact fees are gone towards it yet, which is why there was a 0 allocated balance there previously. And the final update I wanted to mention, the last page has been updated. We will now begin to include the roadway impact fees in the semi-annual reports. So we have the first roadway impact fee part of the report, and we brought in $60,000 in impact fees, $329 in interest. We have $61,122.36 as the unallocated impact fee balance. Now, indicated in the staff report, once we begin to identify individual roadway projects, we will add another page similar to the capital recovery pages, so you can see which projects are outlined, how much they plan to be in, and where the funding is coming from.
All right, and this is a public hearing, correct? Let me get back up here to the top. Yes, this is a public hearing, so we'll open the public hearing for public comments at 6:03. Anyone wishing to address this, please step up to the podium, state your name and address for the record. And seeing nobody stampeding for the podium, we will close the public hearing at 6:04. All right, commissioners. All right, James, I did have one thing for you here. On page 6 of our packet, which is the main cover page of the report, it shows the northeast quadrant distribution mains under unfunded projects as $1.3 million. And if you go down to the spreadsheet, it shows this northeast quad distribution mains as 1.6.
The original cost estimate in the impact fee report was $1.6 million. So if you looked at the actual report from 13 years ago, that's what it was. The current estimate from our water and sewer department was those were actually about 1.3. Okay. Unlike everything else, that one actually went down.
That's pretty rare. Do you have any information on the timelines of the activation of the Crossvines batch plant and the Woman Holler and Trunk lines, which are the two that are underway right now?
The batch plant has one train up and running. The second train was what was being installed now. That is up and running as we speak.
Okay.
As far as the update for the trunk line, I don't have an update on where
Okay, fair enough.
I'm the project manager in the engineering department. So the update on the trunk line is that we're working on easement acquisition still. Having a time with that right now. So we're about to send out our second and revised offers. And as far as the design goes, we've got I had to do some design updates to get it connected into the treatment plant. So all that's in the final stages, and then just final updates on the rest of the plans as well. So the hope is to get it out to bid as quickly as we can after we can get some of the easement acquisition done. So we have a handful of the about 20 parcels signed at this point.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, do we need a motion to approve this report?
We do need a motion to refer this to council, yes.
Okay, sir, I'll make that motion that we forward this report to City Council, recommend approval.
All right, have a motion by Commissioner Outlaw, a second by Mr. Greenwald. Any other comments, questions? All right, call for a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye. All right, motion carries. All right, and with that, we will adjourn the Capital Improvement Advisory Committee meeting at 6:07. We'll take a moment, let Dr. Penshorn, thank you for coming up. Thank you for being here this evening.
That's what I'm supposed to do, right?
Yes. You can hang around if you want. All right, and then let's see here. All right, we'll call to order the regular Planning and Zoning Commission. Time is 6:08. Number 2 on our agenda is the hearing of residents. Nobody has signed up, but if there's anybody in the audience that wishes to come and speak, please come up to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Okay, seeing none. Next item on our agenda is the consent agenda. Items on our consent agenda are minutes for the October 24th, 2018 regular meeting. Item B, PC 2018-038, consider and act upon a request for approval of final plat for the Fire Station Number 3 subdivision, an approximately 5.02 acre tract of land located approximately 900 feet west of the intersection of FM 1518 and Lower Seguin Road, City of Schertz, Bexar County. Item C, PC 2018-050, consider and act upon a request for approval of a final plat for the Corbett Booster Station subdivision, an approximately 4.2 acre tract of land generally located approximately 1,000 feet northeast of the intersection of Alsatian Way and Ray Corbett Drive, Bexar County, Texas. Item D, PC 2018-037, consider and act upon a request for approval of a final plat of the Crossvine Module 1, Unit 4, Phase B, an approximately 20 acre tract of land generally located south of the intersection of Aranda Lane and Lower Seguin Road, City of Schertz, Bexar County, Texas. Commissioners, do we need to pull any items for individual consideration?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to pull item D
Okay.
for discussion.
Item D.
The final plat for Crossvine Module 1, Unit 4.
All right, we'll pull D off there. Is there any items that we need to discuss? All right, then we'll look for a motion on the consent agenda on the remaining items.
And make a motion to approve consent agenda on the minutes of October 24th and items B and C on the agenda.
Second.
All right, motion by Commissioner Greenwald, second by Commissioner Bro. Any other comments? All right, call for a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion carries, 5 ayes and no nays. All right, next item, item 3D, PC 2018-037, the Crossfine Module 1, Unit 4, Phase B. Nick.
Good evening, Commissioners. Let me see. There we go. Right, so you said it's Crossfine Module 1, Unit 4, Phase B. The final plat for the Crossfine Module 1, Unit 4, Phase B was previously approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission on May 11th, 2018. Following the approval of this final plat, the project engineer realized they did not account for an overhead electric line. Here, I'll pull it up here. Running over a portion of Block 3. The plat had to be revised to reroute the electrical line so that it does not encroach on any of the residential lots. I know it's a little hard to see, but it's rerouted down through here, as you can see in your packets. This is represented by the, on the final plat by Lot 40, Block 3 here, which is now designated as a private open space non-buildable lot with an EGT and TV easement overlaid on top of it to account for the overhead electrical line. The applicant is here if there are any questions, and do you have it? What are your further questions regarding the final plat?
All right, Commissioner Outlaw.
Basically, that was, I just wanted to make sure I understood what they were doing here, and I thank you for that, and that's the only change over the previously approved.
Yes, sir. That's the only change.
Thank you.
No problem.
All right, then. Look for a motion, then.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make the motion that we approve PC 2018-037 final plat of Crossline Module 1, Unit 4, Phase B.
All right, motion by Mr. Outlaw,
Second.
second by Mr. Greenwald. Any other comments or questions? All right, call for a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. 5 ayes, no nays, motion carries. Next item on our agenda is public hearing, item 4A, ZC 2018-007. Hold a public hearing, consider and make a recommendation to City Council on a proposal to rezone approximately 17 acres of land from General Business District, GB, and Manufacturing Light District, M1, to Planned Development District, PDD, located at 18658 IH 35 North, Schertz, Guadalupe County, Texas. Nick.
All right, Commissioners. So like Commissioner Dalla said, this is a 18-acre rezone at 18658 I-35 North from General Business District to and Manufacturing Light District to Planned Development District. Okay, so for reference, just to get your bearings, this is I-35. And the street down here to the southwest is Wiederstein Road, later turning into Cibolo Valley Drive as it enters Cibolo. So like I said, the property here outlined in green is approximately 18 acres and is currently under construction with an approximately 73,000 square foot commercial amusement indoor center. So the existing zoning for the property is manufacturing light and general business. And like I said, the existing use is commercial use and indoor. So regarding surrounding zoning and land uses, to the north we have the I-35 right-of-way here. To the south we have it's zoned manufacturing light and it is undeveloped with minor agricultural uses. To the west it is zoned general business and manufacturing light is undeveloped. And to the east here we have Bussey's Flea Market zoned general business. For reference, when you're going to look at the future maps, just make sure to note that this road here, Den Ott Hill, is the road leading down to Bussey's Flea Market and to the rest of the private property here. I mention it because it's an easy reference point when you're going to be looking at the future land zoning and use maps, so just keep that in mind. So, like I said, the base zoning of the PDD, or the base zoning of the PDD is going to be general business district, and therefore, it is staff's opinion that the rezoning is compatible with the surrounding properties and land uses. So the proposed rezone would also have a minimal impact on the existing infrastructure and public facilities and services. So 2 public hearing notices were mailed to surrounding property owners on Friday, November 2nd, 2018. Staff have received no responses from the property owners at this time. And the public hearing notice sign was also posted outside the property on Friday, November 2nd. And here's a picture of that. I know it's small, but to get everything, that was posted on November 2nd. So the general location of Wiederstein Ranch here is indicated with the gold star. Like I mentioned before, the current zoning of the property is General Business District and Manufacturing Light District. It overlaps this zoning line here. And like I said, here's Denot Road, so this is Bussey's Flea Market, and Wiederstein Ranch is reflected here. So this is the map of the comprehensive land use plan conveyed through the future land use plan and the North Schertz sector plan. According to the comp plan, the property is designated as commercial campus. You can see the general location. It's all within this commercial campus lighter red portion here. And the North Schertz sector plan defines commercial campus, and this is a straight quote, as the campus commercial land use is intended to encourage the development of lower intensity commercial and off uses in the locations between major intersections as a buffer between the interstate highway and adjoining neighborhoods. Given the significant linear frontage along I-35 in North Schertz, there are several opportunities to accommodate the low-impact campus development that takes advantage of the highway frontage. And again, I just want to point out that the takes advantage of the highway frontage is a really key point to remember here. So we're not going to go through all these, but this is just what the North Schertz sector plans recommends as the 6 character-defining elements for properties with major highway frontage. So the different land use mix, different building scale, different site design standards, different height transitions and buffers to adjacent neighborhoods. It wants to soften the highway frontage with landscaping and different signage. So we will go through, the proposed PED development standards apply to 2 of these, specifically regarding signage and the site design standards. By including more signage and a focus on the building's horizontal and vertical articulations, these planned development district development standards are allowing the property to take advantage of that major highway frontage and are therefore following the intent of the comprehensive land use plan. So here we're going to signage. So the first proposed change is to UDC Article 11, which is regarding signage. The North Schertz sector plan says that it calls for larger highway facing signs, smaller building signs along other streets, and to limit new billboard signs. So the Wiederstein Ranch PD development standards, they talk about that the property will be having 5 total wall signs, increased maximum area for each sign, and so the specifics are designated here with the maximum area. 2 wall signs may not exceed 478 square feet in area, which are to act as the 2 primary signs for the property, and the 3 additional signs they are granted may not exceed 360 square feet in area. These signs are also being allowed to extend over the parapet wall or roof line by no more than 6 feet, and they can have more than 1 sign per wall, is what this is arguing. So this differs from the UDC by allowing more total signs, signs with increased area, signs to go above the roof line, and more than 1 sign per wall, like I said. So increased sign area is appropriate for the property due to the building's 1,069-foot distance from I-35 and the future commercial development that is planned in front of the building along the highway. These revisions to the sign regulations that you can see here from the development standards to Schertz UDC Article 11 allow traffic along I-35 to more easily view the property and therefore follows the intent of the original comprehensive land use plan by allowing the property to better utilize the highway frontage through increased signage. So the second change is to UDC Article 9, which is regarding site design standards. So the North Schertz sector plan goes into 2 categories when it deals with site design standards. The first one is building articulation. They want to focus on minimizing, or the report wants to focus on minimizing the impact of a big box look by articulating the building's mass horizontally and vertically. It also deals with building materials. It recommends an allowance for a range of building materials, primarily masonry for retail and restaurant, and masonry, glass, and more flexible materials for different office buildings. So the Wiederstein Plan Development District development standards allow the property to use concrete tilt wall for up to 80% of each facade for no more than a total of 50% for the total building facade. This strictly just differs from the UDC by allowing a higher percentage of concrete tilt wall, which is normally 30% for each facade, and that is the only way that it differs here in this section. This revision to the site design standards in the Schertz article, or UDC Article 9, allows the building to provide more appropriately sized visual breaks in the mass of the building via either a pattern of vertical and horizontal painting or a pattern of vertical and horizontal reveals that would essentially create shadow lines. The other approved materials, such as brick or stone or faux brick or even tile, would not really allow the appropriately scaled visual breaks in the building that would normally work because of the building's scale and the 1,065-foot distance from I-35. So essentially, these changes allow the property to create visual breaks in the massive building that are more appropriate to its scale than what are allowed by the current UDC standards, and therefore follow the intent of the comprehensive land use plan by allowing the property to better utilize their highway frontage through aesthetically pleasing visual breaks. When you think about it from that distance, you can't tell with a small brick that all the visual breaks and the horizontal articulations that are recommended through the site design standards in the North Schertz sector plan. And so this would allow them to better accommodate that. By being flexible with the site design standards and the signage, the proposed development standards are allowing the property to follow the intent of the UDC and the comprehensive land use plan by tailoring the regulations to be appropriate for a building of this scale that is this so multifaceted in its uses that we really haven't kind of seen before in the city. We believe that the UDC revisions outlined in this PDD allow our city's code to better accommodate a large commercial business with this kind of major highway access. Therefore, staff is recommending approval of the Wietersheim Ranch Plan Development District rezone. The applicant is here for any questions. They have prepared presentations for you as well.
All right, well, if the applicant has a presentation, then let's go ahead and take care of that.
Good evening. How are we doing? My name is Mitchell Roberts. I'm a CEO over at Evo Entertainment. I wanted to be here and kind of kick things off for the team. And I want to just start by saying that from the beginning, we've completely understood why the development standards are in place and why the codes are in place and respected that. And they've done a fantastic job getting Schertz to where it is today, which was a beautiful community that's very great for business and a place we wanted to be at. The difference here is what we're bringing with our business is something that the city hasn't quite seen before. And so we wanted to accommodate the differences in code here, and we thought the best way to do that was through a planned development district. With that in mind, I did bring quite a few of the team members here who can answer any questions you may have regarding signage or the materials we want to use or why we want to do these things. But we can assure you that what we're doing is trying to create a beautiful product and a great place for the community here. And that's simply what we want to do what's best for this. But thank you for your time, and I'll let these guys pop up and answer any questions.
Hi, I'm Deborah Moltz with Chandler Signs in San Antonio, Texas. Thank you for having us here tonight. Nick did an awesome job. Took away a lot of my thunder already on why we have the larger signage, the quantity of signs, and I wanted to be sure. This picture, when you put this picture up, it kind of explained it all because it shows the building and how far the setback is, why our signage has grown on this particular building, and we worked with the architect to make sure it was aesthetically pleasing with the building, and it was to scale based on the distance from the. That's okay. That's okay. I needed a little thunder. Based on the distance from I think this is from the access road. It's not even from the freeway. We also put in the package a chart showing the visibility studies from the California Institute of Technology, just to kind of give you an idea of the rule of thumb that we try to go by. as far as visibility. And I know y'all probably have those charts. I'm not going to take the time up to bring them up right now, but unless you ask me to. And that would basically, we wanted to emphasize the signage because of the distance, the different offerings that they have in the building between the bowling, the theater, the dine-in, restaurant and bar, the private event rooms, the games, and all the different offerings, trying to advertise it, but yet not overdo it. So we have more signs than I know is code. But as a recap, we wanted to try to emphasize the design and scale and distance from the freeway, and get the pleasing signage advertising for this particular building to make them a success in this community. Now I'll turn it over to the office.
My name is Ian Means. I'm with 5G Studio Architects, and I think a picture is kind of worth 1,000 words. So what I want to do here is just show you a presentation I've put together that gives you a facade comparison of what we're proposing versus what the current UDC allows. So in this particular case, in the upper left image here, the area we're really focused on is this portion of the building where this PBX sign is proposed, and this end mass. So in this faraway view, we're proposing to do a series of horizontal, we call them shadow lines, using a variety of colors, kind of give a level of visual patterning and interest to this portion of the facade. In this lower right image, you have the same facade that's done simply in brick. And so it kind of creates, and you'll see as we go a little bit closer to the building, this is that same corner. Here you can see the pattern creates kind of visual interest and variety. It's painted tilt wall, so it's a high quality and durable material. But the pattern that we brought in really brings interest that's going to give more variety to the elevation, given the scale, given the relationship of this building to the highway. Whereas the brick really creates almost more of a massive elevation that I feel like kind of works against the intent of creating visual variety and interest. And these are just some shots as we move around this kind of end of the building. This is actually the back of the building. So we're going to carry this same pattern and system of colors and reveals around in order to bring that interest. And again, here you see the same elevation with this brick. So although brick is a finely textured material, when it's used in such a massive way, it kind of loses that interest in that texture. We feel like, and we'll just go to this other shot, here we're going to kind of bring that patterning again around to the other side, which would be the northeast corner of the building. You won't see it, but we really want to give a 360 design to this building so that if there's development around it in the future, it's still going to be attractive from all angles. There's no front gap with it. That's a little more specific about what we're proposing with this building and showing how painted tilt wall can achieve an equal aesthetic, pleasing design to
I'm just going to come in and kind of close things out. I hope the team's kind of showed you what we're hoping to do here and why. We do think it looks great. Again, we're so excited to be here. But really what you're seeing is nothing out of the ordinary in our industry. Have big signage and get people excited when they walk in the door and they have this great experience. That's really all we're trying to create. A look that matches the quality product that we're looking to have here, and hopefully serve as a catalyst for what I feel is going to be a really great area for us to be sure. So thank you so much for your time and for considering this.
All right, well, thank you for that. First of all, order of business is we have the public hearing, so we open the public hearing at 6:31. Anyone wishing to speak on this, please make your way up to the podium. State your name and address for the record. I see Mr. James making a beeline. No? No? Okay. All right, we close the public hearing then at 6:32. All righty. Commissioners, comments, questions? I'm sure we're going to have a good discussion this evening.
I have a question, Mr. Chairman, just for clarification. The requested rezoning only affects the EVO part of the project. It's not that we're not rezoning that entire future development corner, correct? It's just their piece of property?
Presentation really quick. Quick answer, no. The the affected rezone would take into effect for the entire approximately 18-acre property. Right now, that is the proposed development along the property. Staff has not received any official applications or submittals for anything else, so that is what affects, or this rezone would affect that development, but it would be valid for the entire approximately 18-acre property. It can be obviously amended in the future, but for right now, that's what it affects.
Right. At the current time, the only project under development up there is this EVO Entertainment. Although we've seen the site plans or plats or whatever, that's just one piece of that big development up there. That actually, that whole piece of property all the way down to Wiederstein is slated for development. It just seems like it would have made more sense for that whole project to be a PDD rather than just a single piece of it. Okay, that said, when I asked some moons ago about why we do PDDs, and I understand it allows then, for instance, for the developer to do things that may not be allowed in current code, but typically when we do that, it allows the city to ask for things that they might not be able to get under straight zoning. So question number 2 is, what are we getting out of this?
I think we get a property that more accurately conforms to the intent of the UDC and the comprehensive land use plan, to be honest. I know there are additions with the signage. You see the drastically increased signage. With the scale of the building and the multi-use aspect of the building, like they had said, like Debbie said, like Ian said, what we're getting is based on the North Schertz sector plan, which identifies what we envision for the future of the city regarding commercial properties with this amount of highway frontage. This is, I'll go to that slide now. I mean, these are the development kind of ideas that we want to incorporate in the future. It is the base zoning of general business, so it's not going to alter it from what it originally is that entirely much. But the two things regarding site design standards and the signage are more appropriate for what the North Schertz sector plan says the future of our city is regarding properties on highway frontage.
Okay. Number 3, since we're talking about the land use plan and you don't happen to have the definition of highway commercial available, do you? I think that's what it's called.
We do.
Another one?
Yeah, we can get it up.
Well, I'll save you some trouble. Here's my problem. When I read the definition of, I'm sorry, now it's just escaped me.
Highway commercial?
No, campus.
Commercial campus.
This doesn't fit. This is not commercial campus. This is highway commercial. But when I look at the comprehensive plan, you know, what's the difference if you bring the diagram up, you see just the corner is red, and then the rest of it all the way up to Bussey's is pink.
Right.
You know, you know, 6 of one, half dozen the other. Okay. But my concern is I continue to see staff bringing up the comprehensive land use plan bringing up these definitions, and I'm not sure it's always the correct definition. Okay? When I read the two definitions, I see the Evo property fitting highway commercial, not commercial campus. Okay? So just something for you folks to think about in the future.
Sure.
Just where I'm coming from.
No, absolutely. And the reason you see that they're highway commercial along the corners is because that's the intersections of I-35. So that's where you get the major cross streets that are crossing I-35.
Sure, I understand that, Nick, but what I'm saying here is you folks in your memo are calling their project commercial campus, and I don't think it is. I think it's highway commercial.
Right. I'm saying the North Schertz sector plan defines it as commercial campus. What I'm saying more applies to this certain project is what the comprehensive land use plan says about properties that are having this increased highway frontage. And I think that's the kind of key point we have to remember here.
It is, yes. The page you had up there before. Because
Exactly.
it makes sense. If when you've got a building setting 1,300 feet off the roadway, you know, yeah, the sign, it's just common sense that the signs need to be a little bit bigger. I'm just a bit of a stickler about things like definitions and stuff. So, Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, I'm sort of done with what I had, and I'd like to recommend, I'd like to make a motion that we recommend City Council approve ZC 2018-007 proposal to rezone approximately 17 acres from general business and light manufacturing to PDD.
All right, so we have a motion to forward approval by
I'll second.
Commissioner Outlaw. We have a second by Commissioner Ray. Any other comments or questions?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, sure. Can you bring up the slide? For me, it's page 35. The one that shows buses.
35,
The one that shows buses and the development.
the aerial.
Yeah. Okay. Can you outline the Wiederstein project? The Wiederstein Ranch. Is that the light blue?
That's what's outlined in green here. It's this flag lot right here with my mouse. Outlined in the bright green.
Okay, but you said that the hang on a second. Wish I had my papers back. Okay, what what encompasses the 17 acres? What's the 17 acres inside the green?
I can show, yes, approximately 18 acres is inside that bright green area. I can show you the approved site plan if you'd like.
Okay, so it's not that whole piece of property. The 17 acres is just inside the green.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
That is the property.
Okay, thanks. In the beginning, you said something about the road that goes through buses. What was that comment again?
Not goes through buses. I just wanted to outline this road. Let me get my notes about exactly what it's called again. Den Ott Hill. I just wanted to outline it specifically because I knew it would be an easy reference point for you when looking at these maps specifically, because I know they're kind of difficult, and I saw that on the future land use map they had labeled Den Ott Hill, so you could get a reference point for looking at it.
Okay, Den
lot
Ott
lines.
goes to that private residence back in the back, right? We talked about that
Yes.
some time ago. Okay, that other little thing is like a driveway for buses.
Owners of buses, yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
According to, on this thing, it's page 38 of 40.
38.
There's a
Keep going.
What's on the page? That might be better.
The map, the layout.
It's a photo of 35 and some green space with.
Well, the map that Mr. Greenwald's looking at is one of the graphics provided by Chandler Signs.
Thank you.
Shows the proposed theater, the hotel lot.
Their lot is only 8 acres.
No, it's
the one that has the hotel outline on it?
This is what you're referring to?
Yes.
It's a little bigger than this. I'm gonna go ahead and
The theater is only 8 acres. The whole Phase 1 is 17 acres, which includes the hotel. You start adding up all the lots and what each one, the acreage from each one, and there's your 17 acres.
Okay.
But what I'm seeing, Commissioner Greenwald, is when I look at that diagram, that you're correct. The building itself is 8 acres, but I interpret that 17 acres to be what's inside that dashed and broken line. So it's the
Yes.
building and the parking lot.
Yes, exactly. So
Because it has the hotel labeled as another, it's almost looks like 4 acres over there. That's the way I see it.
Okay.
takes a second. Stop.
Got anybody else here? We got plenty of time.
There we go.
Look at the site plan that's shown. The movie theater is here. There's future development with the hotel there. Right. As Nick explained, the changes the PDU create that is really intended just for this user. What you'll get with the hotel in all likelihood is a typical hotel motel set back a typical system, and it has the normal kind of design they have. So at this point, without seeing something that's different from the norm that we get, there's no reason to address it. You get a typical hotel, but frankly, just like the other hotels. If it comes in and it's radically different, then we may need to do something else. So while we wanted to cover the entire ownership of the property, because I think we've had some issues there, let's make sure that what's under that ownership is flat, we get all into one thing. The changes for those tonight effectively don't impact the development of the all. It's really 4 different uses of one. That helps.
I'll just add, from an aesthetic standpoint, I think the design looks good. I think it accomplishes what we're trying to do. My comment, and again, it's one of the comments that I mentioned this morning is, we're going to the PDD. It seems that we've several times over the last couple of years to address issues. We addressed the larger signs with the Homestead in their PDD. There was recently a BOA hearing for the Staybridge Suites in the development over there. And I know we've been talking about doing something with signs, and, like you said, if it keeps coming up, that we probably ought to look at it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think if it keeps coming up, we need to address it. I would say this, though, and I think this is one we had somewhat of different opinion. The challenge we create, and even the amendment, I think what we're looking to do with the sign ordinance is different than the issues we've got here are, the things that we've had come in terms of Homestead is one of the largest planned development districts we've had that's fronted freeway, either 45 or I-10. Probably since Northcliffe even. I'd look to Commissioner Greenwald to come in. I mean, it's sort of the biggest, so it's really an anomaly. The other thing, and I think this is the anomaly, is we haven't had a retail building this big come in for this type of use. So I think likely what I would tend to do at this point is rather than modify the sign code for that, I'd probably put in some language that pointed you in this direction of potentially a PDD is appropriate. And what we tend to find is it's a scale issue. Scale is so great, but that lets us deal with it a little bit on a case-by-case basis, because I think what we find is that when you get so big, there's variation even of that scale that makes it problematic. But I think you're right. I think point well taken. As we find this stuff, we probably need to make some adjustments. I agree.
One other correction, you go through your paperwork, spell Schertz correctly, please. There's a whole bunch of them, and the pictures are S-H-E-R-T-Z. Thank you.
All right, commissioners, any other comments?
I just want to add, I don't want to go so far as to say I agree with Mr. James, but he had some good points. A development like this needs to be aggressive, and it needs to stand out in any way that it can. And our UDC provides some of that flexibility, and I think this PDD provides that. And I think it looks good. It's what you guys want, and I think it'll work. So, good luck.
All right, anybody have anything else? All right, we have a motion and second on the floor for forwarding a recommendation for approval to council. We'll call for a vote.
I know the motion, the second was a while ago. Could you restate who had the motion and who had the second for us, please?
The motion was by Mr. Outlaw, and the second was by Commissioner Ray.
Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, we'll call for a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Motion has 5 ayes, no nays. Motion passes. Gentlemen, thank you. Welcome to Schertz, and good luck with your project. All right, let me get back up to the agenda here. All right, next item on the agenda, requests and announcements. Request by commissioners to place items on a future planning and zoning agenda. Commissioners, do we have anything? All right, next item, announcements by commissioners. City community events attended to be attended, continuing education events attended to be attended. Does anybody have anything?
Got the groundbreaking for Schertz Fire Station number 3 at the site.
All right, and the only thing that I would mention is that last night at council, council did approve the appointment of an alternate, which I guess we'll have swearing in at our next meeting. All right, and then so announcements by staff. Nothing.
Happy Thanksgiving.
All right, does anybody have anything else? All right, meeting adjourned, 6:48.